I'm thinking, what do you think? Obviously, with the whole, it sounds weird not to talk about the whole George Floyd stuff and the protests and that just because of how it is. But how do you maybe let's say like obviously, firstly, what's your just thoughts on like the protests and everything anyway,
Oh,
or and just actually just what it is like, what happened, just everything.
do you mean in terms? Do you mean my opinions on the protests in the UK, or do you mean protests in
Yeah,
general?
just
UK.
I think I think I think not just I think obviously firstly what happened to my man.
Yep.
I don't mean my man in a disparaging way, but
Of
obviously what happened
course.
to George Floyd.
Yep.
Secondly, like the protests in general or some of the celebrity responses, whatever. But I would say let's start off with a protest in the US and then in the UK
All right.
because I got thoughts on it. But
All right. So, so the US is. I would have generally said that the US is definitely more racially charged than it is here, and and I experienced that firsthand. Like, yeah, two
mm,
recent trips there have taught me just how charged the atmosphere is in terms of race. And obviously, obviously, the officer in question who's done what he's done, like unless he's claiming that he meant to kill him, then obviously then he's claiming what, like, I don't know, some form of malpractice or something. But I think in America, I'm not sure. Like, the reaction to this death seems it seems it seems louder than some of the previous times that black people have
yeah,
died as a result of police. I'm
hundred
not sure
percent.
what it is. I'm not sure what it is about this occurrence that is sparking a next. Seems like it's sparking the next level of outrage. And maybe this is maybe for them it's progressive because sadly over there these things happen more than any of us would like for them to. And maybe the more of these things happen over there, the more people are getting closer and closer, you know, to the point where they're just going to lose it, perhaps. And so maybe, but I want to say that, like, obviously, America's no stranger to rioting. They're no stranger to the looting and just lashing out. But at the same time, like things like slavery and stuff like that, the fingerprints of it are still all over their country. And so, like, I think it makes them a lot more sensitive to what we as black people have been through. Because to be fair, we do live in a country where we are definitely not fairly treated, but slavery but the fingerprints of slavery are not over the UK in the way they are in America. I think you could
Mm,
even go to some places in the south of America and still see where they literally had slaves here. Like, it's like not even all these places have been demolished. Like, some of them still exist as they were. Like, so, like, I think I think the protests have been. I'm not sure if the protests over there have been the best resolution. If I'm honest, I think that when you've got people joining the protest for the wrong reasons and joining the riots for the wrong reasons, especially people who are not even black, I think that's bad. Because at the end of the day, things like ultimately a protest that becomes violent and becomes uncontrollable, a protest for somebody who's black who died, you're going to tar this whole thing with the brush that this is black people's response back. What I want to see is if they shine light on the fact that there have been white people and other ethnic groups in America who have been the ringleaders in some areas in terms of vandalism and looting. It hasn't just been black people over there leading the charge of
Not at all. Not at all.
not at all.
Bro, let's be real. A lot of them some of them was the police. Like, you got to think, there was police that was, I don't know if you saw it, there was police that was putting out bricks in front of in front of stores, and like there was a policeman that started busting windows, and like there was a white there was two white people that were spray painting Black Lives Matter, and they even put Colored Lives Matter on a wall. And it's like, you start to think, why? Like, why are you doing this? Are you trying to, because obviously they're trying to change, in my opinion, they're trying to change the narrative into, okay, it's easy to quash and stop looters and thugs and getting these quote unquote animals off the street as it compared to peaceful protest. And that's why it's easy if you start to break things, if you start to loot, if you start to put out there that it's negative stuff, then it's easier for you to then act like the president acted, Trump, and start shooting them rubber bullet to with these three times. I think that's why they're doing it. But wanted to obviously why
Mess. Sorry, Mess. I can't hear you clearly, bro. You frozen on my side. I'm not sure if I'm live on your side, but I can't hear you. Yo, we're still recording right now, Steve Gully. So we were talking about George Floyd. So yeah, like I said, in America, we have got obviously other ethnic groups who have been leading the charge of vandalism, and I think it's not very fair that black people are going to get tarred by that brush. I think that it's a very racially sensitive thing in America, and over there. Sorry, I was just. Sorry.
Could you see me?
No, I couldn't. I was doing a monologue. I took over.
I don't even. The funniest thing is, I don't even know if it will come up because obviously I'm the host. But what I was saying anyway.
It still said recording, so I just carried on just doing it.
My guy. But what I was saying though, I think why it hits different this time, and I think why it's been so widespread is because you just can't see that video and like, I don't think you can not feel something, because it's like you're bang, when it's like bang to rights. I think a lot of these things was ambiguous, like Ahmaud Arbery. As much as that is just a madness when you hear the story and you think man was jogging and if you look at the video, you're not really sure what's happened. So you can start to try and be like, well, maybe he did this and maybe he did that and maybe he was trying to rob the house. Who knows? This is just literally an online execution in broad daylight in front of people, that people can see him for 3 minutes. He's unconscious and he still had his knee on his neck, kind of smirking, looking down at him, and like, it's like, this was just murder. And I just don't think, I think that's what made it like, nah, man, are you actually taking a piss? And I'll be real, bro. For a couple of days, bro, man was low about it, because it was like, how can you just kill someone like that in broad daylight? And it's only taken riots and protests and looting and whatever for you to start taking action in regards to charging all of them. Like, you was about to let them go. If this wasn't on camera, he'd still just be patrolling. Just got a next person. They said that guy's killed someone before. He even knew, bro. They say that he knew him. He knew him. So it's like,
there's that. There's
bro,
the thing where
it's like, this is bro. This is execution. This is a murder. This is a premeditated. I know you. I'm gonna bang you up, and if you try and resist in any way, shape, or form, you're dead. Or even if you don't resist, you're dead. Because he was not. He was on the floor, like, please, like, bro. When he called for his mum, bro, that stuff, bro, that was hard to watch, man. And I think people felt that, and I think people felt that, nah, this is crazy. And I think that's the main reason for the whole kind of outcry in general. I agree with you in regards to the looting. I think it's just a ploy, and I think that a lot of people, when you start looting and whatever, although I understand the frustration and I fully get it, and at the end of the day, bro, they learned looting from Americans. Let's not get it twisted. Americans were the English that went over there and looted the country, bro. Let's just keep it true. Like, they're like, bro, they looted the country. They went to Africa, they looted Africa. Like, that's what they were doing. Christopher Columbus and all of that. It sounds nice on paper, but all he did was find a place where people were living and they pillaged it, bro. So, but what I'm saying is that the looting, although I understand it completely, I think it starts to shift the narrative, and the more and more you talk about looting, the less and less you talk about justice for George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and Mark Arbery and all of the people that have died, innit? And I think that's the only reason. Man is moved. Hey, bro, man can't have this serious conversation. A man's getting attacked by killer bees. Man's moving like, man's shadow boxing with a fly, bro.
My bro.
But differently.
Yeah.
No, Mal carried on anyway. But for me, anyway, I think that's the only reason for the looting. But obviously was talking a little bit about the protest and stuff here. So what's your thoughts about the protest here? I've got thoughts on it as well.
Oh, bro. So much. Oh, man. All right. So I think it's great that we are riding through it from over here. I think that's great stuff. I think that. Okay, so my issue with protests are that peaceful protests are a source of conflict for me personally, because, you know, I forget. Okay, the establishment. I believe that the establishment generally feel quite competent in the ability to control, to control and govern what are promised to be peaceful protests. But the issue with a peaceful protest is that generally it's not in the spirit of disruption. It's more in the spirit of bringing people together to walk for a cause. But they're not really on disrupting nothing. When a protest becomes disruptive, it's like the minute a protest becomes disruptive, it comes across like someone's fucked it up now, kind of thing. And it's like it was all going so well, and then now you've gone and fucked it up, and now it's going to look like something else. But the thing is that if you're just bringing people together to raise morale and for us to feel better about ourselves, then I can understand that. But if it's a protest where you're afraid to go too hard, you're afraid to be too disruptive because you're going to get arrested and that, then it's like, well, the protest itself then is a bit futile in the sense of what a protest represents. I can understand that it brings people together, and it's bringing them together for a good cause. But at the same time, bringing people together is not the same thing as bringing change. The Notting Hill Carnival brings people together. What does that mean, bro? There's bringing people together, and then there's bringing change, bro. And the thing is that we've mastered the art of bringing ourselves together in big numbers, and now we've realized we're at the point where there's a lot of support from all colors and all creeds and all nations that are supporting this sort of thing. So we've mastered that part. I think now people need to start directly addressing how we change these things, not just unifying together to feel better every time they happen, because that becomes very frustrating and it's sad. It's sad. And I think that I may have said this to you privately outside of the group pause, but I said that there's a whole generation of young people who this is like their first big active world disaster type thing. Like this is their first turn up, so to speak. And obviously the Mark Duggan, rest in peace. That's all 9 years ago and that. So really and truly, you could all be 25 years old now and you played no part in that.
Yeah.
You weren't out. So I can see the whole spirit where the new generation the new generation express less regard for what they do with their life than the generation that preceded them. And so with the social network generation as well, they're just looking for a turn up. A lot of them are just looking for a turn up. And you've also got a lot of people from the last riots here, the vandals, the bums, the thugs, whoever, like that riot, that was their shit, bro. They've been waiting for something like that to pop off again. So that group of people, you got the younger group of people who are just on whatever because they ain't got no regard for nothing. And it means that you've got this really big energy within the black people where black people as a whole are moving for one thing, but there's like a really big contingent within black people who are just waiting for the opportunity to do a madness. But
I think that's the problem, though. I think that's the problem, though, because I agree with what you're saying, and I agree with, because I even think, like, to a degree, I'm conflicted in that you look at the protest and you think that when you protest in a peaceful way, I think that should be the way to go. But at the same time, and the reason why I say that is because when you start to do and when you start to whatever, it changes the narrative from we're protesting for a cause to we're trying to be opportunists that are just trying to use an excuse to rob, innit? And if some kind of balance in between the two, that would probably be perfect. Because I also think, on the other hand, governments only react when it costs them money. And like you said, it's active change. If we do stuff that disrupts the economy, that will actually be like, okay, well, we have to actually act. Whereas people's process is nice and they may put out good statements and nice statements, but the reality is what will happen. So there's got to be like, for example, if they did something where, I don't know, like when they set alight the police station, I would probably be more for that than man's trying to go to Apple and trying to get a sly little iPad. You see what I'm saying? Or a little MacBook. Because to me, it's like you're just trying to use the opportunity to just do a madness, and you're literally taking it away from. You might not even care about George Floyd. Let's be real. You might not be out there protesting. You might not give a toss. You might have just thought this is a quick lick. Let man just quickly go and try a thing. And to me, that's wrong as well. And also, it allows the government to win in a sense, and it allows them to start moving, strong arming people that are actually protesting and are actually there for the cause because you just wanted to be an opportunist. So I'm conflicted in that sense, and I don't know the actual best way. That's just me being 100. What is the best way? I'm not sure, but something has to be done. I think my only thing with England or the UK is, while I think definitely protesting and definitely, I think it would be counterproductive to spill into like violent stuff when it's like, I don't want this to come out wrong, but it's like, not like because it's a good cause. It's a good cause, but it's almost, I would rather us be protesting and then also looking at the things that are directly affecting us in regards to our racism, as well as like, because there's things that we go through as not the American. We don't have that, like, similar to what you said. Our racism is different in the sense that it's probably it's systemic racism. It's a bit more innate. It's things that may not always be as obvious. It may not be as we may not have as much police brutality, but we may have less people in actual positions of power, if you get what I mean. So there's
We
a lot
do.
of systemic, yeah, there's a lot of systemic racism that we have to think. It's like, it's like that woman, that Billy Malunga, like somebody spitting on her, giving her corona, and they're not getting charged for it. Like, it's ironic because we didn't protest for her, but we protesting for George Floyd. And not to say that that's wrong, but I'm saying that we also gotta like remember, because I feel like because we're so closely affiliated with America and we have a close affinity to America, speak the same language, you look into their culture and whatever. I feel like sometimes we cape for America and almost get swept into the whole feel of America, sometimes more than our own, if that makes sense. And I'll be
Brother,
real, they don't really like when Mark Duggan died, they didn't
I
care.
was about to
Like,
say that.
they're
I
not
was about to say
looking,
that. They
yeah,
didn't
they
even know.
didn't care.
They didn't even
They
know,
didn't know, and
bro.
it's like, yeah, and it's like, and I'm not saying that it's a bad cause in any way. Like, I don't want that to get misconstrued. But what I am saying is, like, we also got to protest for our issues. We've also got to look at how we can get more black managers in football. How we can get a Rooney Rule type thing like they've got for American football for our Premier League. You know, for schools, like jobs, directors, like all of these different things where there's no black people in England. How can we start to improve those things? Like how we can improve the fact that there's so many black men in jail. How every time we get stop and search. I saw a thing the other day where there was two black boys and a white boy. They were all rolling together. The two black boys got cuffed and the white boy didn't. They were in exactly the same group, literally rolling, chilling together. Didn't do anything, but they stopped and searched the two black boys, put them in cuffs, and had the white boy that was just talking to him. It's like we've got to look at our kind of things as well and just be as passionate as we are for what's going on with a George Floyd, for our own issues as well, and try and tackle our issues. Because if we start kicking off and then start having all of these riots based on something that is, yeah, it's something based on an American thing, while it could be good, it could be also counterproductive for the issues that we have in our country as well. And I just want that's my only thing. That's my only thing with the whole protest. It's like we didn't protest for Belly, but we protest for George Floyd. Both are wrong, both are disgusting, and both need to have protests. But it's like it's just interesting as to why. Like, to me, I don't know. What do you
No,
think though?
modern protests. I don't think modern protests are done with the same vim as protests from back in the day. Because protests from back in the
Mm.
day, they wanted to see change. They wanted
Yeah.
change, bro. Like like so whatever like their protests weren't polite, bro.
Mm.
Like
Mm.
they were protesting what is happening, bro. They're like, no, like you lot are gonna hear us, like.
Mm.
Whereas
And you
our
can see
thing,
the different. Oh, go on, sir.
no, I was just gonna say where our thing is like, man wanted to go there and nothing to happen, and everyone goes there and everyone chills out, couple famous people give a one speech, and then everyone goes home, and that was lovely. Yeah, I hear that. That sounds like a fun day out. But what I'm saying is, raw, rude boy, like loud. What do you mean, like who's
What's
hearing
going on?
you, man? Don't
No,
tell
100.
me, don't tell me, man, are just linking up in central London to link up to preach to the choir and go home.
And that's how, and almost, if we're keeping it 100, it started to feel a bit like that. Like I know one of my one of my brethren went up there, and he was saying that there was a man behind him. Almost, they were saying, "Oh, like, you see that girl? Like, what did you move to her?" And it's like, man, ain't like, I'm not saying that that's like, boy, do your thing, but it's like, is it become like, are you there for the right reason? You see what I'm saying? And it just gets like that. But obviously,
Everything Instagram link up now. Everything.
exactly. And then it's
Everything.
like, at what point is it? You see what I'm saying? But and what obviously you brought up a good point as well. What did you think of some of the celebrity speeches, or some of the celebrities' points?
No, I don't know why you're laughing, but I'll be real.
I'm
So I
laughing
don't
at
know.
the.
Whoa.
No, I was just saying, I was laughing at your response still. I was just laughing at your facial expression.
Oh boy, I'll be real, but I don't know if I want to be real, but I'll just be real, like fam, like that, man. Like, to me, yeah, you know who I respect? Oh, that, fam.
Yeah.
Do you know who I respect the most, fam? Like, I'm ready. You know what? I'm ready for the comment section as well. I'm ready for you, blood. My app is in my name. I'm ready for anybody, blood. You know who I respect, fam? Madonna, Rubai. I respect Madonna's team because she just cut through. It's not no PR move. She didn't try and give no speech to get the spark. You get it? She could have done that. She could have given the wickedest speech as a white woman and said some shit. Black people going, oh my days! Like, she could have done a mad thing.
Stand with you. I stand with you. Yeah.
She took over. Rude boy, Madonna could have took over the internet today, blood, if she wanted to. Yeah. But she said, I know 100. I'm big Madonna, but this ain't about me. This ain't about me.
100.
Like, me being the magnitude of me just being here lets you know the level.
Yeah.
Because
but then you find that. But you find that with some of those, like, super duper duper stars, like sometimes I feel like they just do their thing. Like, it's not about they don't need to. I don't know, because I'll be real, and bro, I'll be like, again, like, this may come out funny. I don't know, man, but even with the John Boyega thing, I felt his thing more on Instagram than I did the speech. I'd just be 100 in it. Like, I felt some of it. You know the John Boyega speech. You know the John Boyega. Yeah, I'll be real. I felt the Instagram more than I felt the speech in it. I felt like the speech had passion, and I rated some of it, but I don't know. It just felt a little bit rehearsed. I'll be real. Even the AJ thing, when he's talking about all the, it just felt a bit like PR-ish, man. And I just, again, I just.
You're not fair, Messi. You're not fair, you know.
Why?
You're not fair. Because, I might have started with Madonna, but where I was going was that John Boyega and Anthony Joshua are screaming PR. So for man to say it, and I'm waiting to jump back in the rope. Like, can't wait to hit man with that PR move.
Obviously, you can elaborate.
No, I'm thinking the same thing. These men are the media darlings of the UK. Like, so better it be you, man. Still, but man can give it the passion. A man can protest in that to your fans. A man can protest in that to people in awe of your achievements and your status and whatnot. And also people who ultimately do support the same cause as you. I hear that. But that's not using your power and influence. Like, it's nice of them to say something, but this is what I'm saying.
Mm.
It's nice to say something, but you haven't said or done nothing in my eyes as a black man that really goes about any form of change or disruption. Like, I didn't know, like, but that's the problem, you see. Man, them don't want to be Kanye West out here. I don't want to go. I don't want to go against the establishment.
But that's why I felt like when John Boyega was in Instagram, I felt that more because it was like, bruv, you're a dickhead. Like, it was just very. I felt on it. Do you know what? Do you know what it is with me? And this is gonna sound so weird. Do you know why I felt? Why I felt it sounded rehearsed? Because it didn't have no mistakes in it. Like, it didn't have no, like, you know, when a man's doing a speech or man's doing a speech off the cuff, yeah, it's very hard for man not to stammer, not to say, not to just be a bit like, do you know, I even forgot what I was gonna say. But when it's all just like, this is the bar, and we've got to protect our black women, and like cue the crying, and obviously he's an actor in it. So, but and a part of it, but let's just be real in it. So he knows what he's doing, but I don't want to. The thing is, it's a good cause, so you don't want to be like cynical mess. But it just felt a bit like, allow it, man. And even the AJ thing, it just felt a bit. It felt like Eddie Hearn told AJ, "Look, this is a good time. Get some good PR."
Like, the AJ thing was wet, fam. I don't.
It was wet. It just.
I don't know
and even
why.
when he started talking about it, like, you know, we got to start all the businesses. And
like, I don't mean it to shit on Watford, but I just thought, all right. I thought, all right, mate, all right. Now, big up Watford, though. Watford, and big up AJ, because I am a fan, kind of. But
Watford used to go off. What was that club in Watford that used to go off, bro? Them area, fam. Man, did Sidewinder out there, Esky dance.
But man's not thinking. But Watford, like, Watford's calm, man. Watford's calm, fam.
Yeah, Watford's calm, man.
Right in Watford. Watford's Chris, man. Watford's Chris, like man don't have to really do a stop the violence in Watford. Watford's Chris, like, Watford's calm. You could have jumped in the Bentley and just skirt down to London real quick and back the real fight.
Yeah, we said Church Road's not even that far away.
Bro,
it's not even that far away. You could have quickly. I'm surprised. Could have skirted down.
I'm surprised you didn't even pass through. I know that's these people there, but really and truly, the celebrity thing. So I feel like raw. I feel like impassioned speeches to the people who are already on your side. I feel like, bro, all right, it's a feel-good moment, but it's not the spark of change, fam. I'm sorry.
The only thing I would say with that, though, the good thing is that even though you're preaching to the choir and that, the people that are there, I think the reach is what is important. Because the good thing about it could reach all over the world. So, like, John Boyega doing that speech could go far in it, and that it may be. That's the only positive about it, in that it reaches. It don't just reach people that are there now in the social media era. Like, I wasn't there, but I saw it. You see what I'm saying? And that's the positive about it. But I would say, yeah, I don't know. It just felt a little bit. It felt a little bit forward. But bro, you know what? Man can't not. He's doing his thing. He's done more than I have, I guess. So in terms of, he's got a lot to lose. He had a lot to lose in coming out in the first place. I think obviously he's now gonna capitalize. I think he's gonna actually be better. But we'll see in it. But I don't know, man. I don't know. But I'm glad you saw it as well anyway. But
I do, yeah.
I think,
I was screaming PR at me, man, and
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
so I feel like I had beef with the fucking moth. So
yeah, yeah. That I could see it, bro. Man, look, bro, you look like you just did insanity, bro.
it felt like it, man
Bro.
almost fell. Like, oh,
But bro, I don't
but,
know.
yeah,
It's
man don't want to make the real stand because man's not trying to fuck up man's career, for the cause. Man will do a little speech, but ultimately, yeah, really and truly, I've always felt as though two major things have to happen. One of the two has to happen to see real change in the world in regards to race. And it's
mm,
either black people somehow, the same way that we can unify with such unstoppable force for negative things like riots, if man really used that same force, the same velocity that we can do riots, we use that same velocity in a positive way, which so far on that scale is yet to be proven that we can unite like that for real. But if we really could, and we could get rid of the crabs in a barrel mentality, and we could put
mm,
aside beefs that divide us, and we could really unite as a whole community, even if it's just in the UK, you got to start somewhere. If we could really do that, then we could start to change the whole narrative of ourselves. We could change our own narrative and we could
mm,
rebuild ourselves, and then generations that follow would benefit and all of that la di da. That's the first thing that could happen that would start to change all of this shit. The second thing I think that would change all of this shit is that ultimately, because you do have a lot of white people who are not racist, and you do have a lot of people from everywhere who are not racist, the other thing is that ultimately, this type of stuff becomes outrageous to so many white people that begin to fight the fight against racism, that when you combine those people with the black people who've always felt this way, then it's like it's too much of a force to just go by without being heard.
yeah.
Because
I
man
feel
can
like
air,
that's starting. Oh, go on. Sorry.
no, I was gonna say man could air me, but man can't air Piers Morgan, innit?
Yeah, yeah. But I think that's starting to happen in America. I think that's starting to happen, and I feel that in America, it's all obviously it's mainly blacks against whites or certain right wing whites or the Republican whites, but it's
Mm,
also almost now becoming like the police as well. It's like almost like the people versus the police or the institution, or you know.
mm.
And I think that's a big issue in things as well. So I think that's becoming part of it. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Oh yeah. So I think that's gonna be a big. Bro, I just froze. That's gonna be. I feel like I agree with you. I think that's where there's gonna be a big shift in this thing where if white people or other races, non but mainly white, it starts to become almost like okay, we are actually side by side with you, really fighting this thing and really going out of our way. I think that will help us shift. And I think some of them are though. I think some of them are, and obviously it's gonna take. I think it's gonna be It's not just white people. I think it's powerful white people. I think if you start to see, I don't know, Jeff Bezos or Zuckerberg or these guys
Yeah.
who are like economically, the shift could like if they start saying, okay, if this happens, we are pulling out of this amount of money or these business deals or whatever. That's when you'll see the shift. It's always got to affect the economy from when, and this is
Yeah.
why the way that black people can help each other if they start investing in black owned businesses, if we start like actually doing little things within ourselves where we can start owning businesses, we can start creating a currency within ourselves, then I think that will help kind of change the narrative within things. I think we're too dependent on things, and it's obviously it's the mindset that we've been given as well. Like we can't, like you got to remember, like from a young age, we were told, okay, come to, our ancestors, not our ancestors, but our grandparents or our great grandparents were told, come here, you get a new life, help build the country, we do this. And the reality was they were sold a dream that they weren't given. And then we were told that we couldn't do certain things. So now we need to start changing that narrative of this whole kind of you've been hard done by, and just actually start saying, do you know what, we need to take this kind of economy or our economy into our own hands. Like, we need reparation, of course we do, but they ain't gonna give it to us, innit? So let's just make money so that, like, you gotta remember, you look at the Jews, you look at the Asians, a lot of them had similar struggles at some point that we did. Not the same, but they may have had similar-ish type of struggles, and they've managed to do certain things that we haven't, based on them being able to kind of unify and for whatever reason just create an economy within themselves. And now it's not ideal for them either, but they're straight. Jews gone, Asians, a lot of them are in a better position than black people if you look at them as a whole in this country. And they weren't afforded way much more luxury, mate. They've even felt racism as well. So we got to start doing stuff for ourselves and not be, like you said, that crabs in a barrel mentality is not going to work. But ultimately, because obviously it's gone quite a bit over the hour now, so man, I have to wrap up and say, but ultimately, bro, R.I.P. George Floyd, R.I.P. Belly Malunga, R.I.P. Breonna Taylor, Stephen Lawrence, Martin Duggan, you know what I mean? Eric Garner, Trayvon Martin. There's obviously, the list goes on. We know that police brutality and unlawful killings is wrong, and we just need to try and see change. And all the ones we don't know. Facts, 100%. And this is what, and the ones that we don't know in this country and in America and all around the world, because this is happening everywhere. This ain't just happening in America. It's not just happening in the UK. And hopefully we can start, as black people, find a way to really kind of create our own currency, and currency not just financially, but just as people, our own value, so that we can start. Because if we do that, we're gone. Yeah. You get me?
If you
bro?
If you kill, I just want to say one last thing, yeah? When you watch them shows in America about them on death row and that, a lot of the time you'll hear about stories where man have inadvertently shot a policeman or something and he died. And that was the difference. And that was the difference maker from a life sentence to death row. Yeah? And the thing is, right, is that police officers who killed the public, you are betraying your oath and your duty, because that's not protecting or serving. And if police officers who kill the public, innocent public, were to get the same punishment the public get for killing police officers, then we might see something change.
Bro, more time they just get sacked with full pension. It's a joke, bro. Yep. It's a joke. Bro, on that note,
in a bit, my bro. MX 90s.
Yeah, MX 90s. You done know. Shouts out to me, or shouts out to Nat. You get me? Holding a fort.